wonderful. I believe was released by Sega. It may have been Sega exclusive at that time. And I'll never forget one of the first lines you read in the game Bad Dudes, which I have a NES copy of. I'll try to post it. Is the president's daughter's been kidnapped by ninjas. Are you two dudes bad enough to get her back? I think is what it says. Get me, yeah, I'm in. I'll play that game forever.
I would love a movie now about Bad Dude. That could be done. That could be done.
And all the movie needs to do is start with the president interviewing or talking to two dudes who are dressed like they are. Yep. He's like, listen, my daughter's been kidnapped by ninjas. Are you dudes as bad as they say?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. and the movie starts.
You put that first scene on moving trucks, and you're just fighting on top of them for that whole thing. And there you go. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, gosh. Let's see. What else was happening around this time? Guardian Heroes went in incorporating the battle attack, Street Fighter, blah, blah, blah. I believe it was 91 that the studio called Rare introduced Battletoads on the Nintendo.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They were trying to capitalize on the success of Ninja Turtles. And if we remember, Double Dragon Battletoads teamed together and listed as one of the... Battletoads itself is listed as one of the most difficult games on NES. And they released a really fun game. If you've never played Battletoads versus Double Dragon, I highly recommend it. I used to love that game.
Oh, I loved it, yeah.
So Double Dragon eventually... 91 was also the year that Sega released Streets of Rage in an attempt to compete with the success of Capcom's Final Fight. Man, take me back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of games. I get excited about video games being released right now, but like that anticipation as a child, if I was like a Final Fight fan, and then all of a sudden someone showed me gameplay of Streets of Rage, kid on a roller skates, fire, you can call in bombs on people. Oh. Yeah.
Because I think and of course, I know it's because we didn't know a game was coming out unless we saw it in Nintendo Power, or like word of mouth, or
in some comic book or something like that. Right.
Then and there was never any previews. We never got to see a preview of it or anything too.
Yeah.
We never saw a trailer.
Those didn't exist.
No. Yeah, so we were just like, here's when it's coming out. Oh, that's all we knew. And then we just go to the arcade when it comes out. And
isn't that interesting? The idea that you would buy a game without ever seeing gameplay. All you could do was look at pictures on the back. You know? You look at a badass cover that's so artistically done, it looks nothing like what the game actually looks like. Right. It's just this artistic rendering of what the actual story is, typically. And then, like, how iconic is that Bad Dudes cover of two dudes back-to-back, just fist tape, ready to fucking go.
Right.
The Double Dragon as well.
Yeah. No, and that's what it was. I mean, we bought games because of the picture on the front.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we would read and see what it's like, but I mean, it was mostly the picture. I mean, and that was it.
It's just like a movie rental. Except movies get the benefit of a movie trailer. But like, I remember how excited I was for Echo the Dolphin, just because of how good the graphics looked on the back of the game. Double Dragon, you see this poster of these two dudes, and they look incredible. They have a whip and a knife, and they're back-to-back, and they're buff. And then you get to the gameplay, and it's just these little dudes running around. Right. Which is fine for the time. You don't know any different. Yeah. But, man, you think about everything that comes out with a video game now. Like, there's an entire world, like C2E2 or San Diego Comic-Con, that's going to release gameplay footage. And within 24 hours, the release of the gameplay footage has 1 million views online. And then there's interviews with the game makers, and the game makers talk about the patches that are coming that are going to fix certain things that you saw in the gameplay trailer that may not be there. So the color is going to be remastered by the time it comes out, and you're just like, oh my god! Yeah.
And then we also have streamers who get early access who can post things about it too.
Yes.
And so we get people. It's not a fair game. It's not an even kill to where everybody's on the same plane, and that's fine. But it's just like that's what made it more fun, man. Like I wish I could just unplug if I saw something new and just be surprised by it. Not watch everything, because that's all I do now. If I see something new coming out, I do exactly that. I look at the reviews, I see the gameplay, I do whatever I can to see as much as I can of it if I'm interested in it. And it might let me down, and that kind of,
it makes
me sad.
I've been avoiding the the Mortal Kombat trailer. I've watched it like once or twice, but otherwise I'm trying to avoid it and just come in. Like, there's all these videos now, but like character introduction and stuff like that. I'm like, nah. I want to see it as if I were 1995 Adam.
Yeah.
Just, with his father's permission to go see this movie.
That initial trailer for me was just fine, and that's all I've watched.
Yes. Yeah. That's all I need.
Yeah.
It's all I need. And I know who's in it, so I do have that going for me that I didn't have in 95, but man. Yeah. And how about the excitement when you're walking through Toys R Us and you're just walking through the game section? They're all behind glass cases, and you had to get a slip.
Oh, yeah.
You take the slip up to customer service or whatever, and then you would see a game that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's so much. Like, just the color. Like, that's what Toys R Us was great for. I mean, it just like, you got to see this picture of, and the colors are bright and everything too. And I remember seeing games like Commando and Bionic Commando.
Woo!
And those games are just like, oh my God, I gotta, just because of the cover. And it's just like, I gotta have those. Oh. And that's the fun of it. I never knew about them, but I just see them, and the fun of seeing that slip that's available, that it's not sold out, and just being able to take it up there and get it.
Oh, that, and like when you would see a movie video game, I was immediately ready. Like I could care less about what the movie was. I was immediately interested. And gosh, when Sunco released the Batman game, oh my gosh, you walk down, you see that yellow and that gold and black emblem. Yeah. Oh, I'm ready, baby.
Yeah, let
me jump off a wall.
That's how I was for Friday the 13th. I was so excited for Friday the 13th to come out.
Oh, and poor Marcus.
Yeah. And, I mean, I played the heck. I played it so much. I ran that thing into the ground. But, yeah, it was fun for me. But, I mean, like, going back now, that's just the most monotonous, boring game in the world.
Yeah, and it is. I remember as a kid playing it, my friend got it, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Mm-hmm. And it was thrilling when Jason would be in a cabin.
Right.
Oh, man. Let us know if you have any really fun stories. Did you play Double Dragon in the arcade? Did you stay there all day and go through as many quarters as you can trying to figure out who took your girl, just to realize it was your brother? Let us know your Double Dragon stories. Were you
Did you beg your parents for the Tiger Double Dragon game, handheld game, when you were a kid? Because I did. I remember wanting that so bad. Yeah.
Those handheld games were huge business, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They really pulled the wool over all of our eyes.
Because the cover art. Because they look so badass on the cover.
You assume, because in the commercials, there's a kid, like, he'll be playing Double Dragon in the arcade, and then lightning happens, and the game shrinks down, and it's in his hand, and he's like, oh, shit, I got the arcade, and you're like, well, I gotta have that. Yeah. Spend $10 on this thing, and it's terrible. I don't think I've ever enjoyed playing one of those. So... this game, like I said, BB Karate Podcast at gmail.com. Let us know if you have any stories specifically related to Double Dragon. What are your stories? Like, did it make you want to play it when you heard that the kid on Wizard got 50,000 on Double Dragon?
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know that.
That was the coolest thing, man. That was just like, I got to beat that kid. Like, I got to do that now. Like, that was... We should do a bonus episode on Wizard. We need to, Just
to celebrate this month of April in video game, because that movie introduced a bunch of video games, and man, how cool was that random kid in the desert that had all 90 some odd?
Yeah, Lucas has the power glove and
power.
Every game, and it's
like she didn't want to get with him,
right?
Come on. Let me tell you, I did as a kid.
Little sappy Fred Savage, just like, oh, good. And Lucas just with badass clothes.
He's like, which game do you want to play? I got them all. Yeah. And then he beats him. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And that kid cannot deal with defeat.
He can't.
Anyway, so that's deeper into this world of arcade gaming. This is dedicated to beat 'em ups. My favorite genre of arcade games. I've never been into... I mean, I appreciate the dual fighting games, one-on-one games, but for me, I'd rather play along my friends or along with strangers trying to get through Sentinels and X-Men or Secret Service agents in The Simpsons and get to a boss that's impossible to beat, so you just pump quarters in. So, that is the nostalgia. A few other fun things about this movie before we get to talking about it. The writers of this movie are interesting. Marcus, you look at some of the writers?
I did. And yeah, we have, I would say, like, looking at the writers, I think we have we have 3 writers for the screenplay, but
right.
You have, like, total different ends of the spectrum kind of here for this, too. I mean, with Double Dragon, so we had 3 people in charge of the screenplay. We had Michael Davis, Peter Gould, and Paul Dini. I don't want if it's Denny. I'm sorry if I mispronounce that. But so, first we have, like I said, Michael Davis.
Let's talk about him, because I had no idea. This guy's great.
Yeah. I mean, there's some great stuff, like Shoot 'Em Up and stuff like that he's done, directed and wrote. And stuff like that,
and of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep, Secret of the Ooze. Yep.
What was he, a story on that? I don't know if he wrote
storyboard. He was an artist. So same with Encino Man and Tremors as well.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
And this guy wrote a movie that So there was this call-in show that would go live around 3:30 whenever all the kids were getting out of schools, like on Fox Kids show, right? And you would call in and you could win from their prize. Sometimes it was a specific prize. Sometimes it was you could go in the box of prizes and pick out whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
I won every week. I was able to win every week because I figured out that if you just called, the line wouldn't go live until the thing did, so I would be the first one to call. I would be the first one to answer. And so I would stay on the phone for an hour, just letting it ring. And they would eventually pick up. I was homeschooled at the time, so I was in 5th grade. And they would pick up, and they'd be like, hello? And I'd be like, hi, did I win? And they're like, you did. What's your name? I'm like, Adam Archer. And they're like, have you won this week? I was like, yeah. And they're like, you can't win multiple times in a week. I was like, okay. So, but one of the things I won was the movie Prehysteria, the VHS copy, which is about a kid who finds dinosaur eggs and brings them back to life.
Can I just tell you one thing that I have never told you, and now you saying the story is another connection between us?
Please.
When I was a young child with a boombox and a dream in the 90s, I would listen to the radio, of course, in Odessa, Texas, and they would have contests as well with you have to name this song within so many seconds, or they would give you a clip of it and you had to call in. Well, I called in the first time and I won. And I remember the first one that I got was like Billy Joel in the middle of the night, like in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah,
a total throwaway song from Billy Joel. But I got that, and then I was like, well, I'm just going to keep doing this. And I called again, and I won. They didn't ask me the second time, but I called a third time when I got Madonna. And I think it might have been around this time with Secret in 94, which was one of the top 3 during this time. And they asked me again, like, when they asked me my name, they said, you can't keep calling in. Like, you've got to stop this. We have to have other winners. And that's when I stopped. But I remember going up to pick up my CDs that I had won from the radio station with my dad. And they're like, okay, like, I thought it was this whole big deal that they were going to usher me in. But no, they were just like, some probably teenager back then that I, was probably 18 or 19, who was working internship there at the radio station in Odessa, throw some CDs and like, here's what we got, pick 2 of them. And I remember picking Billy Joel in the middle of the night, like one of those. And then the other one that I picked was, what a wicked game you play.
Oh, Chris Isaac.
Chris Isaac, yes.
Yes. Fall in love
because I thought that would make me seem like more of a well-refined man rather than a young
and the teenager's like, okay, kid, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out.
I one time I went to my family's timeshare with 2 of my friends, and we were driving through this small town right outside of where we were going, and the radio had a competition, and they said, what year was this? And they played a song. They talked about movies. They said, what year was it? And I was like, oh, this is 1989. It was. They talked about New Kids on the Block. They talked about Batman, the Michael Keaton version. It was like 1989, and they, my buddy called in, and we won Taylor Swift's new CD. And so we went in the next morning and picked it up, and they're like, "You guys want this CD?" It's like, "Yeah, we want it. Give that shit to us."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So God, love call-in radio stations.
Yeah.
So this guy's had a really fun career, huh?